ब्रह्मादि ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ओम शांति शांति शांति। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्ति भेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्त देहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तदेतत् सत्यम् यथा सुदीप्तात् पावकात् विस्फुलिङ्गाः यथा सुदीप्तात् पावकात् विस्फुलिङ्गाः सहस्रशः प्रभवन्ते सरूपाः सहस्रशः प्रभवन्ते सरूपाः तथाक्षरात् विविधाः सौम्यभावाः तथाक्षरात् विविधाः सौम्यभावाः प्रजायन्ते तत्र चैवापि प्रजायन्ते तत्र चैवापि यन्ति। As we just introduced this mantra yesterday, just see how the thought development or the teaching process. In the first section, there are three mantras introducing Brahma, introducing Brahman, Aksharam Brahma. Student asked, Kasmin vignate sarvavidam vignatam bhavati. What is it, knowing which everything becomes as well known? Then Guruji said, Dve vidye veditavye parachaiva aparacha. Two types of knowledge one needs to acquire. One is para, another is apara. And he started with apara, tatra apara, rugvedo, yajurveda, etc. And there was one sentence, yaya tadaksharamadi gamyate tat para. That by which you know Aksharam Brahma, that is Paravidya. That means, look at the context. Context is having known which I know everything. Teacher says that is Paravidya, and Paravidya is by which you know Akshara Brahma. That means having known Akshara Brahma, everything becomes known. Then the question comes, what is Akshara? That was talked in just 2-3 mantras. One was of a negation. What Brahman is not. Yatadreshyam agrahyam chakshu ashrotram avarnam agotram etc. And as I said yesterday, another was tatastha lakshanam. With accepting the existence of Jagat, what is the connection of Brahman with this world? What is the relationship of Brahman with this world? Yathornanabi srujate grunnate etc. mantra was. Then teacher went on talking about aparavidya. What was the need for aparavidya? In other words, yesterday I told you, what is the need for artha, kama and dharma? We talk of 4 purushartha. Ultimate purushartha is only moksha. Each one of us is unknowingly or knowingly is a moksha. If you are knowingly a mumukshu, you will seek the right means. The unknowingly mumukshu will seek artha, kama and dharma. In our tradition, this is uniqueness of Hindu dharma. The dharma itself is purushartha. It is though subservient to artha, kama also. They say, do this karma, earn punya, you will have some sukham here. If you don't do this, or if you do this, this is papam, then you will have some dukham here. Not only here, but hereafter as well. It is a means for artha, kama as well. Vedvyasi, while concluding Mahabharata, Urdhvahu Pravaksha, he says, why don't you pursue artha and kama through dharma? That he says. Dharma should be the foundation for artha, kama. Dharma means what is proper, not good and bad. What ought to be done and what not ought to be done. In which way it should be done and in which way it shouldn't be done. That is dharma. And our dharma also earns a punya papam hereafter. So two things are there. Dharma is talked about as a foundation or basis for artha, kama, and dharma also becomes a means for artha, kama hereafter through punya papam. But then at the same time, it is only for the Hindu, dharma is an independent purushartha. When you understand the meaning of dharma, dharma doesn't mean astha vishesha. Belief system is not dharma. What it means is, as we saw, what is to be done. That is dharma. And few things, just to explain you how it is independent purushartha. For a Hindu, matru devo bhava, pitru devo bhava, acharya devo bhava, serving the parents with an attitude looking upon them as devata is an independent purushartha. No son looks upon the seva to the parents as a means for artha, kama hereafter. This is to be done, full stop, independent. It is an end in itself. But then, though it is told as an end in itself, it is not. Dharma is meant for moksha. Dharma gives one necessary qualification, necessary psychological, emotional and cognitive infrastructure, or necessary maturity, emotive maturity and cognitive maturity, whereby person understands that I have been a mumukshu all these years. That I want moksha, that has to be discerned by an individual. I have to see. I am not seeking a given thing. I am not seeking a given relationship. I am not seeking a given situation. What I am seeking fundamentally is freedom from unhappy self, freedom from discontent self, freedom from dissatisfied self. That is what I have been wanting. I am seeking a self which is self-acceptable to me, where I feel I am okay, where I feel I am at home with myself. That is what I am seeking. That's what Yajnavalkya said. Na patyuhu kamaya pati priyo bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya pati priyo bhavati. Na vittasya kamaya vittam priyam bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya. I am not seeking money for the sake of money. I want money to see myself as a content guy. Satisfied. I want money to see myself as self-acceptable in my own perception. You seek anything. The bottom line is I want to see myself as a happy person. And this is called Vairagya. I have told again and again, and I would like to repeat, Vairagya is not an action. Vairagya is a cognitive maturity. To understand the fact, what I have been seeking, I cannot gain through the means that I have been employing so far. I want to see a self-satisfied self, and I am seeking different situations and positions and power and pleasure, etc. None of them could ever provide me a self-satisfied, content, happy self. They did give me. There were columns and semicolons in my life, but not a full stop. When I got something, I felt, oh, bah, I have made it. How many days? Not even 24 hours. That beggar eye, that wanting eye is always there. So to see that there is no connection between the means and the ends, that is Vairagya. Vairagya doesn't mean to say it is bad. No, nothing is bad. If it is Ishwar Srishti, why should you say bad? You cannot, car is not bad, money is not bad, power is not bad, provided you are not bad. Your thinking is not bad. Some people run away from women. If we don't see their faces, they are not bad. They can run away from you also tomorrow. Thank God that Sampradaya is not started. It is problem is with you. What is improper? To look upon money as the end. That will give me permanent happiness. No. To look upon pleasures as a permanent happiness. No. Sadhana sadhya clarity is Vairagya. And what it brings into you, objectivity is Vairagya. You know what's its place. Money is a buying power. And if I have to conduct myself in this world, I need some buying tender. $100 or 100 rupee note is a tender for barter. That's what this is a modern way of bartering the things. Those days they used to barter the commodity. We barter now through some acceptable, mutually acceptable piece of paper. That's it. Government validates it. That's it. So let it have buying power. And if you have to survive, if you have to live, if you have to finish your prarabdha, you need few things minimum. And if you are into some social work and society, you need some place, ashram and all that. Use it, nothing wrong in it. But that ashram will give me fulfillment. That money will give fulfillment. That's the problem. Dharma gives that cognitive maturity, whereby I see there is no connection between what exactly I have been wanting and what I have been pursuing. All the known means are futile with reference to the ultimate end, the ultimate self, happy being that I am seeking, and therefore there is a tendency of withdrawal. Please remember this. Vairagya doesn't mean absence of raga, doesn't mean presence of dvesha. I don't hate the word. All kinds of stories are floating. A typical Indian mind, this Swami is great because he doesn't keep money. If you don't keep money, you become great. All the beggars should be greater than Swami. They also don't have money. It is not whether you keep it or not. It is how you look upon it. And when that is there, the maturation of Vairagya is emotional maturity. You live an objective life. That is what we saw. Parikshalokan, karmachitan, nirvedamaya. That is a Brahmana. Brahmana is a quality, not the body is part Brahmana. That mature mind is Brahmana. And therefore, having a clarity that none of the known means will give in this, I seek something other than these known means. And as I mentioned, at that point, person is very gullible. He wants something uncommon. Then somebody says meditate and you will realize, fellow goes for it. Somebody says do yoga and have samadhi and make thoughtless, then he goes for it. You get, I mean, he can buy anything provided you know how to market. That is a grace that you come to Shastra. That is a beauty of our tradition, which is no more there. Hindu culture gave this awareness. When there is a vairagya and there is a desire for moksha, nasti akrita krutena, then they always went to Guru. There is a mention in Upanishad, Naradji telling, Soham Bhagavat Shochami, that he tells what I am, so-called accomplished person, successful Narada, having more than diplomatic visa across all the countries and all the lokas. He can go to Vaikuntha Loka, he can go to Kailash. And not only go, he can go to straight to White House. Not only White House, but President's bedroom also. Narada could go to Vaikuntha Loka in Bhagavan's bedroom and see this. That Devarshi, Virukvedo Adhyami, Yajurvedo Adhyami, etc., etc. And he goes to Sanat Kumar and tells, Soham Shochami, I am grieving. Shokasya param tarayatu me. Please help me to cross over this ocean of grief that I have. How? This is where culture comes. He told clearly. Tarati shokam atmavid. Atmavid tarati shokam. Atmavid crosses over. One who knows the Atma. That means please teach Atma. Etat shrutam maya bhavadbhyaha mahatbhyaha. Great people, respected people like you have heard this. So please teach me. Lord Rama also, though being Bhagavan, but purpose was to teach humanity, calls Vasishtha Rishi and says, teach me. Rama didn't do yogasanas. Rama didn't meditate. He studied the Shastra. And Arjuna, a warrior born Kshatriya, always busy in learning the warfares. He also had a grief. He told Krishna, Shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prabhat. Teach me. But today, in this Walmart of spirituality, you need a grace. You end up somewhere that you come across Shastra. To bring to that, apara vidya is necessary. That's the purpose of dharma. It is fulfilled. Therefore, over the same tradition, same Vedas, which enjoins dharma, which tells you have to do akarane pratyavaya dosha, etc. So many vakyas are there. You have to do this. Same says, yadareva virajet tadahareva pravrat. It gives you freedom to give up dharma. Therefore, sannyasi has no kartavya except studying the Shastra. Full time, 24/7 job, studying the Shastra and gaining moksha. Having told that, teacher picks up the thread and continues now to reveal Paravidya, by which one can gain moksha. One can gain this wisdom. Yasmin vignate sarvamidam vignata. That's what mantra. What he says, tadetat satyam. Tadetat satyam. Okay. What is tadetat satyam? Tat, what was told is yayata daksharam adhigamyate. That etat, this, that which I am going to reveal is satyam. That's a ekasutrata. You have to see that. You have to visualize the whole blessed thing with a holistic vision. You cannot take one section and interpret it. So you have to see the tatparya. So he says, tadetat satyam, that which was told as a means for moksha, by knowing which you gain, that in the first canto, is now being revealed. That is satyam. What is Satyam? That also you should know. Karma phala also was talked as Satyam in the earlier section. Karma phala is Satyam with a Vyavaharik meaning. Because na bhuktam kshiyate karma kalpa koti sataihi api. Avashyam anubhoktavyam karmana phalam shubha shubham. Even millions of years pass away. You have to, the karma phala will come. That means that the law of karma, the order of karma is infallible. Whatever you have done, that result will come at a proper time. It will certainly come. That Satyatvam was with reference to karma and karma phala, that you can never escape karma phala. If you perform, you will have to pay for it, or you will be paid for it. Here, when it is said Satyam, what is Satyam? Abaditam Satyam. Purna Satyam. What does it mean? That truth which cannot be negated, and the truth that is limitless. If you ask me, what is Hindu spirituality? I would say it reveals Satyam. It reveals truth. What truth? There are so many truths. A physicist is trying or unfolding the truth of particles. That's how they have come up to energy. They went to atoms and then protons, and now they say conversion of energy. A botanist is trying to understand the truth of plant kingdom. Zoologist, animal kingdom, different scientists also are working for Satyam. When I say Purna Satyam, Satyam of everything, truth of everything. Everything, what does it mean? Seen, unseen. Here, hereafter. Past, future, and present. Everything. That is called everything. Now, just understand. To unfold the truth, you have a model. Like even if I want to describe this ashram, I have a model. Another can use another model. I would say the first public area, that is temple, and semi-public area where my kutia, so some visitors are allowed, and private area, the residence and the kitchen and all that. Someone say that. Someone can say only Swami's stay and the guest stay and the staff stay and then Gosala and temple can have a model of fivefold model. Model is not important. The thing conveyed through model is important. And we have this model. The word everything is divided into three. See, our bhasha, our language is connected to our Hindu vision. What are the three things? Each one of us find ourselves as an individual. We think we are a separate individual. An experiencer, a doer, a thinker, etc. And there is a world outside which I experience. And if you use little intellect, intellect is there with everybody, but if you use it, it becomes clear that nothing, that what I experience is not I have created. And none of the things that I know seem to have created all that is experienced by me or others or past or future. There is somebody, something which creates this. In our vernacular words, Shastric language is called individual Jiva, Jagat, and Jiv Jagat Karta Ishvara. Satyam of these three, Jeev, Jagat and Ishwar. Look at our language. Aham, Pratham Purusha. This you, Dvitiya Purusha. Tat, Tritiya Purusha. That was Tattvamasi, Tritiya Purusha. The truth of all jivas, any sentient being, beginning from bacteria and WBC and corona bugs onwards. That is all jivas. Jagat, anything sentient or insentient that you experience here, hereafter, past, future, and something which doesn't exist. Scientists may, technology may discover and make it. You look at this. Technology is nothing but collapsing the possibilities, exploiting the possibilities of 2-3 things. It is like our undia. There are different vegetables. You make undia, that is a possibility. You mix them and create. So they create something. It is not creating new thing. The possibilities are collapsed, exploited. That's all it is. But it is already their potential. Anyway, and Ishvara. The Satyam of Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara, that is Hindu Dharma. In other words, famous mantra, Isha Vasyam Idam. Whatever is non-separate from the truth. That discovery is wisdom. That is the ultimate goal of Hindu Dharma. Anyway, let me come back to this. This is Satyam, Abhadita, limitless, unconditioned truth. And Abhadita. And that is why nobody can improve me. What I have been talking, what rishis have been talking. What I talk is nothing but rishis. That which cannot be improved upon, that which cannot be negated upon. How come? Swami, so many research are now falsified and challenged. Even Einstein was challenged by Stephen Hawking in some areas. It is possible. That's true. That can be possible. I am telling limitless truth, and that is you. Now try to negate. You cannot improve upon limitlessness. And you cannot negate yourself. To negate also, you should be there. That is, I am telling Satyam. That is why we call it Abhadita. What is the connection with the Jagat? Then he gives an example. Yatha sudiptat pavakat visfulingaha prabhavante sahasrashaha sarupa. Well-lit fire. Thousands of sparks come out of the fire. Of sarupa, same nature. Tatha aksharat sambhavati vividaha bhava. Similarly, from aksharam, vividaha bhavaha, hey Saumya, beloved one, oh pleasing one. Varieties of bhavaha sambhavanti, prajayante, they are born. And tatraivacha apiyanti, there alone they dissolve. Now, yesterday I told you, whenever an example is given, whenever a similarity is given, one should know only some part of that example is applicable to dashtanta, that point that you are making. If it is completely similar to what you are talking, then it is no more an example, it is a pariyaya. It is a second verse. And one should understand it properly. Another problem also is that today in Indian diaspora, people give examples and stories and proof point, especially management guys, motivational fellows. They give stories and therefore this is no. Example and stories are not the principal thing. You have to prove your principle and then supportingly something you need for some support, you can give. Why I have been telling you this? Because this mantra has been interpreted so wrongly that it has created a lot of confusion. Okay, there is a confusion in my confusion. Okay, so the confusion about the truth. And there is one more shloka of Bhagavad Gita, which has also created confusion. Whole India is blabbering this, including some Mahatmas and Mahamandaleshwars, and they are big names. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. 15th chapter. And there is a popular belief that we are separated from divine. People say within the heart of each one there is a spark of divinity. Like the sparks, the fire from the fire, well-lit fire, there are sparks. So there is a divinity within, it's a spark. There is a belief. After death, you have to merge with that divine. I am separated from divine, and therefore I am suffering. All of you are suffering. And to get over suffering, you have to merge with the divine. And there are stories also. Mirabai physically went and merged. So and so Bhakta got merged with Bhagavan. This is nonsense. This is where you gloss over. This is where you need traditional teaching. This is where you should know the tatparya of the Shastra. You have to see the meaning of each word properly. If you don't have clarity and just go by some translations by some popular fellows, they confound your confusion. Look at the word. Bhava. This word. Tatha vividaha bhavaha akshara. Bhava means what? That which is. Anything that which is prabhavanti, is born out of akshara. When you say is, it begins with Panchamaha Bhutas onwards. All things, all devatas, Chandra, Indra, Varuna, everything. Anything that is has come out of Aksharam Brahma. What is that Aksharam Brahma? Satyam. Please understand the word Bhava. They are confused. The spark of consciousness is within all of us. And the spark has to merge with the total consciousness. Or we are separated from God and do bhakti and then merge into the God. Swami would say, so many fellows are doing bhakti today and they all merge with the God. God will have stomach problem and he will have to take flagyls and some tablets to flush these fellows out. You should have heard. You heard him saying this. He would elaborate all this. You have to merge with him. Poor of Bhagavan. Why should you create a stomach problem to Bhagavan and get merged inside? And you remain, then you remain, there is some clot here and there. He may get paralytic attack also. Or he may have clot in the heart and heart attack because you have merged inside. They say, Bhagavan is all pervasive. Then where are you going to merge? And had you been aware, then there is a possibility of merging. The word is Tatha Aksharat. I am not a fraction. Sarupa. Understand the word Sarupa. Listen, what we call spark is nothing but fire. Fire is given name because of the size, Upadita. That is a big fire because there are so much wood and it is little charcoal. So we call it a spark. But Sarupa means that is also fire. We are also the same consciousness as the total. Exactly like the pot space. 5 liter pot space, 10 liter pot space. The space gets an adjective 10 liter-ness, 5 liter-ness because of the pot. Otherwise it is space. And if you don't see that, the outside space is same. If you don't see that, I have to say, you have a lot of space here. It is a space all the way. Separation is apparent. When you say aksharam, that, and when you say it is full, that which is not subject to any vikara, we saw in the earlier section, adreshyam, agrahyam, akshotram, achakshu, varanam, agotram. When it is limitless, how can you divide limitless? You ask a primary school mathematics teacher, they will say you cannot divide into infinity. How can, and this, listen, the limitation of this example is there is a fire and a spark in between space. Space is, the Shastra says, the bhava, that is also aksharam. The space is not separate. What we talk is about spatial division. But the space itself is manifestation of Brahman. Tasmadva etasmad atmanah akasha sambhuta. There is a space is Brahman. Therefore we worship space as Ishvara. Hindus worship. Chidambaram temple, the space, the Bhagavan is worshipped as space. It is non-separate. There is a question that I am little Brahman and that is total Brahman. That which you cannot divide is infinity. If at all there is a little infinity, it is apparent. The space is limited, limitless. You cannot divide the space because it is formless. But there is a division apparent. That is apparent. 5 liter space, 10 liter space, 20 liter space. It is apparent. And therefore it says, Shruti says, Tatraivacha apiyanti. They merge back to that. It is not coming away and going back. Like space was there. I like this. A few years ago, I was invited into some architectural college for talking to students, and they said this. I said, what are you doing? They said, we have this project and all that. I said, what is it? 10, 12 years ago only I discovered this word. They said, we are creating space. This is dining space. This is meeting space. This is master bedroom space. This is kitchen space. They said, we are creating. You cannot create space. If you think you are creating space, you have a lot of space, but you fill it up. You are creating apparent division in the space. I told them publicly, in the presence of their professors. When they build apartment, 20 story, 40 story, they just go by building floor by floor. They fill up the slab and finish. They fill up the slab and this. So between the two, one floor, there is a whole space. All the way space. Inside, outside. There are only slabs, but outside it is all the space. In between they create wall. This is flat A space, this is flat B space, this is flat C space. And then within the space, they create another space. 3-bedroom BHK flat. So bedroom space and hall space and kitchen space and blah, blah, blah. Space is indivisible because it is formless and limitless. You happen to create a space, apparent space. You cannot create. So also, there cannot be division in limitless consciousness, which we saw formless, limitless, agotram, avarnam, achakshu, ashotram, etc. Adreshyam, agrahyam. We have seen that earlier section. How can it be divided? Even if it wants to divide, it cannot divide itself. And if at all there is a division, it is apparent division. The spark is fire. The size of the charcoal decides the small fire. Size of the log of wood makes it big fire. But what makes fire is light and heat that is universal. Listen this carefully. Manifestation of fire in terms of light and heat varies because size of the charcoal and size of the wood. Consciousness is all pervasive. Inside, outside is consciousness. Manifestation appears to be limited because the size of the body mind complex. Therefore, it is called upadhi. Upadhi means what? By mere presence, it makes the other thing appear different. Samipe sthitva swagunan adatte. Upasami. By a standard example, if you have a red flower, put near the crystal appears red. If you have yellow, crystal appears yellow glass. If you have pink, crystal appears pink glass. The crystal doesn't become red or yellow or pink. Mere presence of the flower of different colors creates a feeling that it is of this color. There is an apparent color. Therefore, it is called upadhi. The space is not limited, but there is an apparent limitations of the space, whereby we say 5-liter pot and 10-liter pot and 20-liter pot, and we say this is a flower pot and this is a water pot, blah, blah, blah. But space remains limitless. Consciousness, as though conditioned by this physio-psycho complex, appears limited. It doesn't become limited. Therefore, this body-mind complex is called upadhi. Gujarati upadhi is also applicable. In Gujarati, they say this fellow is upadhi. By his mere presence, you have some dukkham, you feel uncomfortable. He is boring and troublesome guy. So that is upadhi. So this body mind only is upadhi, typical Gujarati upadhi. It gives rise to all kinds of dukkham. Anyway, therefore Shruti uses the word sarupa, of the same nature. Spark is of the nature of fire. The main fire is also fire. So also vividaha bhavaha are nothing but satchit consciousness. Bhavaha means anything that is consciousness. That's all Hindu Dharma is. Whatever is truth. That is consciousness. We will deal with this question little later, but I will raise the question and answer you right now at the moment in brief. The question comes, Swamiji, if it is and if it is consciousness, how it is not conscious? There are some inert objects. How it is not? That is the problem. No. The inertness is not absence of consciousness, is absence of manifestation of consciousness. Exactly like you have a hot iron ore, some iron hot, put in a sunlight. It is hot, piece of iron ore is hot because of sunlight. What is sun? Light and heat. If it is sun, then how come it is not light? That is what it is. Light is there, manifestation is missing. Yeah, a piece of glass, simple. It will be hot, but apply that chemical behind, silver color, it becomes a mirror and reflects light. It manifests the light. Light was there. Consciousness is there. Presence and absence of Sukshma Sharira makes the difference of Jad and Chetan Vastu. And we'll see later. We have discussed in Tattva Bodha when we taught this book. So coming back to this, Aksharat and Tatra Eva Abhiyanti. They go back to Akshara only because they were never away from Akshara. From the total space, different spaces are created, though the space is no plural, spaces are created, 5 liter pot space, 10 liters pot space, 50 liter pot space. And when the pots are broken, they go back. Now, just to connect with example, it's not proper, but still just to give you idea and connect with Gita. Because some of the shlokas are very popular in Indian culture. Everybody writes. And everybody knows, whether you know Gita or not, you know these shlokas. What are the shlokas? Atma is empirical. Najayate briyate va. Nainam chindanti shastrani. Nainam dahati pavaka. Etc. Atma is immortal. Talk this, Mahatmas. Atma ajar amar hai, रोना नहीं है. अजर अमर कैसे है? Connect with this. What is destroyed is pot, and therefore that pot space appears to disappear and destroy, but it is not destroyed. What dies is this physio-psycho complex, with the consciousness because of which this body is, consciousness because of which this body is sentient. It doesn't die. It was, you cannot, being limitless. It is birthless, deathless. And in fact, the so-called death is nothing but absence of manifestation of consciousness. In terms of sentience, it is manifesting as is, and even that body is. The Sat Brahma is, when Sat is, Chit is, that is not away. But manifestation, apparent manifestation is missing. Tatha aksharat sambandhi. These bhava, sparks come and go. Bhavaha appear to come and go. They have come from Brahman and merged in Brahman. There is no merging. We always think in terms of space and time. And therefore, we say we are away and we have to merge with Bhagavan, and there is a little spark, and I am Jiva, Amshamshi, Bhava, and all this. They don't understand mantra, the word Sarupa, and Tatra Eva, and the third word is Aksharam. Now, listen this. That is Akshara. Naksharati iti Akshara. What is Ksharam? That which is not perishable. That means what? That which doesn't modify in any which way. If it doesn't modify, if it doesn't perish, where is the question of creating jivas? It is as it is. Naksharati, no vikaras possible, no division possible. Secondly, from Aksharam you came. Let us say hypothetically, I agree. Akshara created all different sparks of Akshara. Even that theory, the spark of divinity within us is merged to the total divinity. They say this, you know. Mahatma said, Mamai Vamsam Bhagavan se alag ho gaye hai, samsar mein kho gaye hai, maya mein pakde gaye, wo chhod ke Bhagavan mein milna hai. ठीक है, कब मिलोगे? मरने के बाद. ये शरीर तो छोड़ना पड़ता है. If you are Akshara, where is the death for you? Aksharat sambhavat. The cause, yatha karanam tatha karyam. Caused by Akshara should be Akshara. And if that fellow is Akshara, where is the birth and death? Where is the fraction? You have to see these words properly. Tatparya of the example is not to show that many sparks, similarly fractions have come out, Tatparya is there is apparent division in size and capacity, but it is ultimately fire. What we call spark is fire only. We give a name fire spark because of the size. What we call a wave and a breaker and ocean, it is a size. Ultimately, it is H2O. Wave is also H2O, ripple is also H2O, a bubble is also H2O, and a breaker is also H2O, and ocean is also H2O. Oceanat sambhavanti vividaha vevaha tatraiva oceane pralayanti. They are born out of ocean and merge into ocean. That is Aksharam Brahma. Bhavaha Akshara. That being the case, that Yadnatva, having known which, everything becomes known. When wave knows I am H2O, all waves are known. Whole ocean is known. What was a pratigna that is being explained in this whole section? We will see that mantras next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om. Mundak सीधा जावे